Hi there. Welcome to Tech Talk Weekly. I'm Bob from Creation Station. This is our weekly show where we talk about 2 to 3 interesting stories in the news, give you a cool library fact, and send you on your way in 15 to 20 minutes. As always, send us any of your story ideas to creationstation@broward.org. This week, I have Andra Mentor here as my co-host. How are you doing, Sir Andra?
I am doing fine.
Andra
All is
is
good too.
the works with me in community engagement. He is part of library services. He actually does a lot of different stuff for the library system overall. What's on your plate right now, Andra?
Right now on my plate, I would say we have summer learning. As you know, it's an ongoing thing this year. We're constantly trying to look for individuals to co-sponsor our programs because, as funding is always an issue, regardless of if we are funded or not.
And what's if
Also
okay,
on
before we get into that, before we get too deep, what actually is is the library term for that funding?
It's the library term is called advantage marketing.
So
And
advantage marketing,
basically,
and
marketing, yes.
that's
And
where
basically what we do, yes. And basically what we do is we go out and we find individuals to partner with the library to provide services. It could be cash, it could be in kind, it could be just a support of a program. So it comes in various formats. But
And because
primarily we get
one of
the
the reasons Andra is here today is because he managed to get the library system, I don't know how many French fries. And if you've seen any of my comments out on all the other Facebook feeds, we're doing
wow.
another one next week about this and giving away things. Kimberly still has not given me any French fries. So we're gonna see what we do with this later on. So it's gonna be a lot
Yes,
of fun.
we
But
do.
we're gonna have fun with this. So, before we actually go up onto the regular news stories that we had planned for the day, we had breaking news this morning. If you haven't seen, there was a Russian supply module that came up to the space station this morning, docked at the space station, and then thrusters fired and sent the whole space station out of control. That's all been fixed. That's all, at least that's the current information from NASA, is that the thrusters have been disabled and everything's back to getting things back to normal on the ship. It was quite a little adventure. A good reminder that space is hard. So if you didn't watch it last week, we had an interview with the one of the engineers from the Artemis project from NASA for going to the moon. I'll show
Wow.
you links to
Hmm.
that at the end of the episode today for how to get there. But let me go up and share my browser here for people so we can get started. There's some fun little stories today. And the first one is, I'm not going to say her name, your Echo speakers from Amazon. There's now a new name, Ziggy. Now, you probably don't even know who Ziggy is, or you might not even have known that you could change your names. Um, and so that's one of the things that you'll want to pay attention to is you can, on any of these devices, whether it's Amazon, whether it's Google, or whether it's uh, Apple with Siri, you can change voice names and you can, but Amazon's the one that allows you to change the actual name that you use to invoke them. Do you care,
Oh.
Andra? Do you care about what name you call it?
No, but I was always puzzled by the why we just had that one name. But I can understand when you have a new product, you want to bring one name so everybody can get familiar with it, and then as it grows, then you can add other names, you
Actually,
know?
this is the
So,
fifth name. You've always had that one name. We're trying
hmm,
not to say the name because it invokes
got you
everybody's
because yeah,
speakers around me. However, you can
right.
also call it Amazon, or you can
Hmm.
call it Echo, or they
Okay.
added the word computer. So you could use any
Okay.
of those four up till now, and now the fifth one is Ziggy. So they try and
Wow.
pick names that no one's going to mistakenly use, and we'll see, in a few months they'll probably release some kind of survey about which names are the most popular, because the primary name that everybody uses is is the most popular right now.
The most popular name. I got it. But
So
just for a fact though,
tell
I
me.
don't. I have one of the products,
Uh-huh.
but it's not connected.
Oh, is that the dot? That's the Echo Dot?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and I have one at so and I have two at home, and it's not connected. Um, I guess I'm still in the unsure category as
Ah,
far as what information can that I can give it and it can receive from me when I'm not there. So I'm still one of those individuals that's not on the fence,
give,
understand it, but not yet connected.
remind me in an email and I'll send you over my class on voice assistants and we'll teach you all about how to handle it and what we do.
Yes,
Um,
yeah, I know how to connect it and all that kind of stuff, but I'm just so
and all of the
so
stuff that you
unsure
can
about Big
see.
Brother watching you.
No, they're
Yeah.
not. Actually, and that's one of the things we teach in that class. We've done it a
Mm.
couple of times while it's been online, and we'll do it again in the near future. Uh, One of the reasons why we use them in the library system is because we can override all those things from Amazon and have really great privacy for everybody using these devices.
Got you.
But speaking of privacy, well, you gave me a great segue there. Thank you there, Andra. There
Um,
is a new thing for Major League Baseball. They are
wow.
moving to some new transmitters because if you've watched a game of baseball, I'm going to guess most of the people listening to this broadcast have. The tradition for the last 125, 150 years has been for the catcher to put some fingers down in between his legs for the pitcher to look in and see. And a couple of years ago, the Houston team made a big scandal of using binoculars out in the stands and trying to watch those and then banging on trash cans and stuff. So Major League Baseball now has this new encrypted transmitter that the catcher will have on his wristband that he just has to press a couple buttons and it goes to the pitcher's ear. It's got a little bone induction microphone, and it goes right into his ear to let him know exactly what the um, pitch is supposed to be.
Wow. Mm. That's interesting. So now you have something else to worry about.
Exactly. Well, you have one more thing to worry about as far as is your tech going to work, and there's a couple of things about it. Um, One of the interesting things that I found, though, when you read the article, if you go all the way down deep into the article, which it's
Uh-huh.
actually a fairly long article for such a simple device, this box of crayons. This is
Yes.
used by magicians. Did you see this part of it? Isn't that cool?
Yes. I was reading through it and then I was listening to some of the audio
Yeah.
that different individuals had on it and it was kind of interesting. Now when I go to a baseball game, I'm going to be looking for that. I wasn't looking for that before.
Yeah. It's not going to be in the
Um,
major leagues this year, but it'll be there soon. But this box of
yeah.
crayons, where this is used in magic tricks. So it's that same transmitter that they're going to be using in baseball that magicians have
Hmm.
been using for their tricks like this. And you take the box of crayons, you hand it to somebody in the crowd. They pull out a crayon, hand you back the
Wow.
box of crayons hidden, but you can hear in your ear what color
Mm.
was taken out because the transmitter's built into the crayon box and it lets you know which color got pulled out.
Oh.
That's where baseball, the technology that baseball's adapting for this. Isn't that
Okay,
crazy?
so yeah, that's crazy. So what is the thing about the Apple Watch? That part was kind of interesting to me in the
Oh,
article.
well, right. And one of those ideas about using the watches and stuff like that means they're not encrypted and people could like download or capture the stuff going back and forth.
Okay. All
That's
right.
that's one of those reasons for that. And there's some other things going
Okay.
on too with some other interesting little bits and pieces. But
Hmm.
this is going to be interesting to see when this actually hits the major leagues. Baseball's been
Yeah.
practicing along. Something I didn't get a chance to show you during the pre-show, Andra. They've been using robotic umpires in the minor leagues
Yeah.
for this spring. And
Okay.
so in Daytona, um,
Hmm.
I'm sorry, Dayton, not Daytona, Dayton, Ohio. It is Daytona. I was right. I was right.
Daytona,
Yeah, it was
Daytona.
Daytona down
Yeah,
here. Okay. I saw it again in the article here. And I was just like freaked out on the name that I was getting it wrong. The sort of the Tortugas are the team. They in their ballpark in Daytona, they do not have the robotic ump. For some reason, their ballpark didn't get retrofitted to it.
gotcha.
So the games where the robots in control of the strike zone, their
Mm-hmm.
team is scoring 10 runs a game, 10.6 runs a game, but
10. That's a lot.
with at home with a regular human umpire, they're down to only 9 runs a game because of the difference in strike zone for the batters and for pitchers and such
Gotcha.
for being able to do. So it's just a sign that, you can use technology in a smart way, even on an old sport like baseball to make it all go. I mean, all of the sports do. Hockey has had stuff in there. They've got the, especially with the cameras now for telling goals is really nice. Football's
Yeah.
had all sorts of, instant replays and helmet, audio stuff and things. I can't, can you think of anything in basketball besides shot
Yes,
clock?
yes.
What are they
No,
using in
they're
basketball?
they're using the cameras now for instant replay, like the last 2 minutes of a game, to decide various calls. Now players can challenge calls, so they're
Yeah,
kind of trying to make the game more. It's more for fans, I think, more than trying to get it right because
yeah,
you at the game and you spend all this money, you want to make sure that they get it right. It's
that is
primarily
fair.
they want to
Exactly.
get it right,
Yeah. The big
which
tech
is
that
kind
I
of
know of for
interesting.
basketball was on our Magic Leap devices when you can be there on the court for some of those games
Yeah.
that they had. But that
Yes.
was the 2019 season. I don't think they did it for the 2021 season.
No, I don't think
I
so
don't
because
know.
remember we're back in person now. A lot of the
Well,
games are in
temporarily,
person. That was
maybe
more person.
yeah, we'll
So
leave
we'll
that
see.
one for a different show.
Different day. Yeah.
So
Because
there's
we can
one
talk about the
other,
NBA because this
tell
evening
me,
is the draft. This is draft night today, and it's going to be very interesting to see how these teams, you know, make their pitch and make their moves. To see
yeah.
if they can get the right player to see who's going to win the next championship. So,
See, and I'm all about the baseball and football. I've been watching the Dolphins. Their training camp started on Tuesday. Third day of
yes,
training camp today. Everything,
yeah,
lots
I
of cool
passed
sports
by
stuff,
that
even in
training
my
camp.
tech
Yeah,
things.
I passed by the training camp, and I'm trying to figure out how to get in there. The new space
I
they
don't
have.
think they're gonna let you in, Andra. If you can get in, that's an awesome idea. But hey,
Yeah.
I'll
The new
come
space
help.
they have is kind of interesting. I'm like right close to the right where you play. It's kind of interesting, a different take.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see.
And that's another whole high tech thing too. I wish we could talk about that one. That would be a fun one to get some Dolphins
Yes.
like staff on to talk about what they do there. Our
Oh,
final
then
story
we
for
should
the
work on
day.
that.
Maybe we should. You do a lot of outreach stuff. We find something out.
Yeah, we
Um,
can.
our last story of the day was one of those that's tucked away in a corner of the internet, so I wanted to bring it out to people. It is a story about how your brains could sync as you're working on a project together. So this kind of like is a way, and of course, when we put this in the show notes, we'll have the original scientific paper here for you with the full abstract and everything to give you all the details about it.
Hmm.
But what happens is they've done a couple of studies and they know that your heart rate, for example, when you're in with people, like, when you're sleeping with someone, your heart rates tend to get into sync. Your breathing tends to get into sync and during emotional times and stuff like that. Well, they're finding out that your brain waves sync also.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not just
That's
like if you're in
possible.
it's not just a closed thing. The one that I found so interesting was it's not just the idea that it requires, because you can kind of think like, yeah, if you and your wife or you and your husband are in bed together, your breathing's going to kind of get in sync or something. This is something where just working in the same office with someone, working closely with them on a project, your brain waves can actually start to sync.
Yes, especially when you're in a team environment. Maybe that's
Yep.
where they're going with this. Maybe
That's
I don't know if that was
exactly
part
where
of
it
the
is.
study or not, but I would think about in a team environment when you're trying to solve a problem and we all are trying to get on the same page. Maybe
Yep.
that
And
may be
that's
thing.
what that's another one of these articles right here. This LinkedIn is you hit right on the head, Andra. It's if you start competing with each other, no, your brain
No,
waves don't sync. If you're
no,
working on the same task
yes,
separately, no, you don't sync in. It's
no.
only if you're working as a
In a
team
group,
that everybody
team,
starts to really get that cooperative thing going on.
yeah.
I
Hmm.
do recommend you to come hit the article up and go read it up because it really gets into some fun things about how physiological stuff and brainwaves and everything all builds together for you. Do you think
Wow.
you get that feeling at work or at home, Andra, that you're really getting in sync with people?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think what one of the things I've heard a while back is they say like in some marriages that you may start a sentence and your spouse may finish it for you, and you be on the same thing. So I think maybe that may be
Exactly.
along these same lines. So
Yeah.
this is interesting though. The same
Yeah,
wavelength. Yeah,
and we
yeah,
now we got scientific. That's an old folk tale, but now we actually or an
right.
anecdote, and now we've got scientific proof that yeah, no, wait, this really does happen. This really does
Yeah,
work.
yeah. You see some people walking down the street, and all of a sudden they're walking in sync with each other. You're like, wow. So yeah, bicycle in the same way. I look at I was looking at the Tour de France. Um, when was it, last month? And you see
Yeah.
and these guys riding, and all of a sudden it looks like they're all riding in sync.
Yeah.
Even when they're in the I forgot what they call it. When they're in
The
that group,
Peloton.
when they're in the peloton, you can see they're all moving at the same motion, same pedal. It's only when someone is trying to move up or break away is when it's like different. But other than that, the same body motion. It's kind of interesting. So
Yeah.
this article maybe is onto something.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think it's really, really fun. And I mentioned in the show notes and all the stuff like this, we always put all these up on our Facebook page for you, and you're probably watching this live on Facebook now. But just in case you didn't know, we have a whole stream of these tech talks stored up there on our Facebook page for you. So if you come into the library Facebook page and you look at the videos, you can find Tech Talk there. You can see we got a decent amount of followers right now. And when you click on that link, it'll take you to this whole list of all of the articles from Broward County Library on Facebook. And you can go back and watch any of these old episodes that you want to. I'd recommend try and go back and find that space one from last week with the Artemis engineers. That was a really fun project. Or just last Tuesday, we did Creation Station monthly, and we had two people on. We had a young intern who just started with NASA last month, paired up with the retired head of the South Florida Astronomers Association. So two of them coming from different ends of their careers, talking about what got them into space and what happens with them. It was a really fun conversation out there, and that's going to be out there. You can find that on our links there on the library Facebook page.
So Bob, but how many of these
Anything.
TED Talks we have on there online?
We have done these since last December, so we're now in the
Okay.
30 something range for weekly shows,
Okay.
and we've done monthly
Perfect.
ones since January, so 7 monthly ones. And there's a quarterly special topic one. We did robots, we did AI, we did something else. We're doing a special AR one. We're trying to figure out how to do an AR one. If not, it'll be the voice assistants. That's going to be the fall quarterly one after summer learning is all
Okay.
finished.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
good.
so there's
Yeah,
a
we're
yeah,
growing. We're
there's a
growing.
lot of these out there. Yeah, it's been fun.
Yes, it's been fun. Yeah.
So you're out there looking for donations for the
Yes,
library
I'm looking
or
for
in kind, more
in kind
partnerships, right?
partnerships, all the good stuff that
What's
we
the
love
email
people to
for them?
support. We love people to support our libraries. We
Right.
and sometimes some people want to give in different formats, and we use the county's Advantage and marketing process to help find sponsors, in kind contributions, and all these things that can help support programs and make them much beneficiary in the communities Also, one of the drives, the things that I take part in the most is volunteers. We always looking for volunteers for our operations, for our friends group. Right now, we know the times we're living in, but volunteer assistance is always helpful.
Oh yeah.
And
And
yes,
we need volunteers and we love our friends.
yes, those are
Friends
two
groups
things
at
we
all the
do.
various libraries and everything. What's the best email address to get you?
Best
Community
email
engagement at
address.
Broward?
Yeah, that's a yes, yes. You can do that. Or if you're interested in the friends, you can always do friends at Broward.
Friends at
Dot org,
Broward.org comes right to
Broward.org.
Andra.
Uh, if you're interested in volunteering, would be library volunteers at Broward.org, which is live volunteers
He
at
he
Broward.org.
he has all these email addresses that he watches and
Or
takes care of for
yeah,
all of his programs. That's a great thing, Andra.
yeah, or just my regular email, which is a mentor at Broward.org. Either one of those you can use, and you know, I'll get the message and I'll respond to you.
We'll get it out to you. And of course, let me throw up our final slide here for this. Thank you so much for being here, Andra. And thank you everybody for watching today. Remember, we'll be here next week, Creation Station at Broward.org. Let me know if there's a library or a librarian you want me to feature on one of these weeks. Everybody stay safe and have a great day.
All right.